Damian's voice still echoes in my skull. "Enough. You're fired." He didn't shout. He didn't need to. His tone carried something far sharper: certainty, confidence. The kind of confidence a man uses when he thinks the world is already kneeling for him. I remember the way the papers trembled slightly in his hand, not from fear, from excitement. He enjoyed this, letting me go, cutting me out like dead weight. But the moment he pushed the termination letter across the table, something inside me didn't break. It shifted. A quiet, precise click, like a lock turning. Because just 12 days earlier, I'd filed a document no one knew about, not even Damian. A document he should have prayed stayed buried. And as I walked out of his glass office that day, watching his reflection smirk at mine in the window, my phone buzzed. A message from the board's lawyer. "We need to talk, urgently." I knew then the real story hadn't even started. Suspicion didn't explode. It seeped, quiet, colorless, the way poison moves through someone who never sees it coming. It began a month earlier, a closed-door meeting I wasn't invited to. A shared look between Damian and the CFO that lasted half a second too long. A budget report mysteriously edited after midnight. My name missing from a project I created from nothing. Small things, forgettable things, but stacked together, they formed a shape I couldn't ignore. I'd given this company 10 years. Damian had been here 18 months. Yet somehow, every room I entered felt colder. Every conversation stopped when I walked by. The respect I had built brick by brick was suddenly dissolving beneath my feet. I watched, I listened, I stayed silent. But silence is not surrender. Silence is insulation, protection, preparation. Then came the slip, an email forwarded to me by mistake, or maybe fate. A draft termination plan, my name at the top. Their reason? Restructuring. A convenient word, a bloodless one. But I knew the truth. Damian wanted control, and removing me was his first step. So I prepared my own, a contract, hidden, signed by 2 board members who trusted me more than they trusted each other. A contingency clause granting temporary executive authority to whoever discovered financial misconduct within senior leadership. A clause no one believed would ever be used. I filed it quietly, walked away, and waited. The evidence didn't take long to appear. Bank transfers masked as vendor payments, bonuses unapproved by the board, a separate payroll entirely, one that led straight to Damian's brother-in-law. They weren't mistakes, they were threads. I pulled each one slowly. My heartbeat stayed steady, my face stayed calm, my voice stayed polite. On the surface, I was the perfect employee. Inside, I was mapping the coffin he was building for himself. And when the numbers aligned, when the pattern finally bared its teeth, I printed the report, placed it in a plain white folder, and sat alone in my office as the sun bled out behind the blinds. There was no rage, no trembling, just quiet. Quiet can be lethal. The truth landed the next morning like a guillotine. I handed the folder to the board's lawyer without a word. She opened it, read the first paragraph. Her face went pale. Then she looked up at me, halfway between disbelief and horror. You're the owner for now." Her voice cracked on the last word. "Temporary executive authority. My hidden contract. Activated." Damian didn't know yet, but he would. He was already smirking when I walked into his office. Feet up, tie loose, the posture of a man who believed he'd already won. "I hope you didn't take it personally," he said. I placed the folder gently on his desk. "Read." He rolled his eyes, flipped it open, and began scanning. I watched the moment his pupils tightened, the moment his breathing changed, the moment he realized every step he'd taken had led him here, barefoot, blindfolded, smiling at the drop beneath him. You can't," he whispered. I already did. He looked at me then, really looked, maybe for the first time. I wasn't angry, I wasn't triumphant, I was empty. And emptiness terrifies men like him. When security arrived, he tried to argue. When they took his badge, he tried to bargain. When they asked him to stand, he finally broke. Not loudly, quietly. That's how real fear sounds. I didn't stay to watch them escort him out. I didn't need to. His downfall wasn't my victory. It was simply balance. I walked to the window overlooking the city. Cold air pressed against the glass. For the first time in months, my chest felt still. Not light, not relieved, just still. Damian taught me something without meaning to. Power isn't always loud. Sometimes it's the calmest person in the room. And as I turned away, leaving his empty office behind me, one final thought settled in my mind. He fired me, but I ended him.